All right, guys, this is the Iceman here on the Jeffrey Rose YouTube channel, and this is a video response to the Wrestling Machinic, and I'm going to put a link to the video that I'm responding to in the description box below, and it's uh, titled "Chris Benoit Killed Wrestling," and I really totally have to disagree with this video or his opinion. Um, I don't think Chris Benoit did anything. I mean, as far as hurting wrestling, yes, there was a tragedy that went on, um, a huge tragedy. You know, his wife, his son, and then himself. Um, but did it kill professional wrestling? No. Or I should say, did he kill professional wrestling? No. What he did was take three lives, himself and two others. And I there's been a lot of things that have gone on in the wrestling world, and no one is ever going to make me believe that no top official in the WWE knew or didn't know what was going on as far as who was shooting steroids, who was doing this, who was doing that. Yes, a doctor got singled out, he got blamed. He was the scapegoat. And you got to understand, I I really do believe that a lot of these superstars got together and they pointed the finger at the one instead of at a whole group. I mean, there was wrestlers, superstars thereafter that were suspended for a short time for violating the drug policy after they were found out that they were getting the drug administered to themselves. But um, if you do research on steroids and human growth hormones, you will find out that it does affect some people in various ways, and it does kill, and it affects the brain. Um, I don't know if a lot of you younger guys remember, there was a football player for the Denver Broncos, Lyle Alzado, and he took steroids, and his life was cut short. And when he was with the Broncos, I believe way back in I don't know if it was I think it was the 70s, um, and it took his life eventually. He ended up, I think, playing for the Oakland Raiders thereafter. But um, yeah, you can't blame Chris Benoit for something that he really didn't have any control over. I mean, and you got to understand too that in the world of professional wrestling, everybody is looking for an edge to get over on the other guy. You want to perform at your peak, at your very, very best. You want to become noticed. You want the WWE or any other major, whatever wrestling promotion you're in, you want to be the very best in that promotion. And you take shortcuts. And sometimes shortcuts work out, and sometimes they don't. Um, in this case, I don't know how long, the steroid thing was going on with Chris Benoit, but I do know back in the days of WCW, he wasn't a very big man. He did get a little built up more when he was in the WWE, as well as Eddie Guerrero did. Eddie Guerrero was pretty muscular towards the end of his WCW run, but when he come into the WWE, he got even more muscular. And I remember mentioning to some other people that I go, yeah, Eddie's probably on something. And look what happened. They found him dead in November. I think it was was it 2005? Um, yeah, and it was pretty much the same for Chris Benoit. I mean, there was, and and the thing of it is, you want to blame somebody for what we see now. It's not, you can't blame Chris Benoit. You can't blame the doctor. I mean, yes, he did administer, the illegal drugs and whatnot, but I will say this. There's no way that I believe that Vince McMahon and the rest of the top officials in the WWE did not know what was going on. This isn't the first time that Vince McMahon has gone through this when he was exposed, with the Hulk Hogan thing and the Bruno Sammartino thing. Um, and he almost went to jail. And of course, the old saying goes, time heals all wounds. So now we're in the year 2007, and we haven't really heard too much about the issue anymore. But again, no one would. I never ever believed it ever stopped. I mean, I just seen too many wrestlers just get too big too quick. And, I look at it this way. Sometimes the top people in the WWE or any other major promotional business, they just look the other way because they know overall it's good for business. And I'm not saying this to quote Triple H, you know, this present time, but really, I mean, a bigger, muscular superstar with a big name already, it's good for business. So I think Chris Benoit just strived too much, tried too hard because he wanted to really make it to the top. Was he there already? Yes, he was there to a certain point, um, but he wanted to become better. So he did whatever he could to become even better than what he was. And unfortunately, he lost focus. He lost you know, the guiding light, so to speak. And he made a lot of numerous mistakes down the way. And unfortunately, it led to him taking the life of his wife and his son and himself. And I don't take the blame away from him, but part of the blame is the pressures of the business to try to make it big. And if anybody out there doesn't think that there's pressure on every single superstar that's in the world of professional wrestling to perform at their very best, to do whatever it takes to be the very best, then you you just don't know. You really just don't know. This is one business that you can ask anybody. There is so much pressure on them to perform night in and night out, to work with pain, to work without. I mean, do you know how many times somebody like CM Punk goes out there and wrestles on a nightly basis? A guy like him that doesn't do any kind of drug at all, how much pressure it is for him to perform? It's it's enormous. It's totally enormous. But all I want to do is just basically say that Chris Benoit did not kill professional wrestling. Um, all he did was take 3 lives. He tainted wrestling, but he didn't kill it. And if you really want to put the blame anywhere, put the blame to the top people in the promotion that look the other way when they figure, well, if we can get away with it, we're gonna. This is the Iceman. Have a great Tuesday. Peace out, everybody.